This is Northport Now, where we bring you everything happening in and around our city. From commission meeting highlights to an upcoming town hall, we've got you covered. Here's what you need to know this week. There are new water restrictions in place from the Southwest Florida Water Management District, or SWFMUD, for our area. SWFMUD voted this week to declare a modified Phase 2 severe water shortage due to dry conditions, requiring residents in the district, which includes the city of Northport, to follow a 1-day-per-week watering restriction. Lawn watering is restricted to the timeframes of 12:01 a.m. to 8 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. This water restriction will be in place now through July 1st. For more information, visit northportfl.gov/water restrictions. Speaking of dry conditions, the city remains under a burn ban. Northport Fire Rescue has responded to several fires in the last few weeks, and many of them stemmed from illegal burns or even just carelessness. From a burn barrel to a cigarette butt or a vehicle's catalytic converter, it doesn't take much to spark a bigger issue. Find more resources about how to stay safe and prevent brush fires by visiting northportfl.gov/hazardsweface. As construction on Price Boulevard continues, we have a safety reminder from the Northport Police Department. When traffic backs up, don't enter the intersection if it appears you will not make it through. If you get stuck in the intersection in the way of oncoming traffic, that's called blocking the box. This can cause major accidents and create a significant safety hazard. If it looks iffy, just wait at the light. For more information on the Price Boulevard widening project, visit northportfl.gov/price. Join city leadership and staff for a town hall that shows how city decisions are made in Northport on February 23rd at 6 p.m. at Suncoast Technical College, 4445 Career Lane. Learn how ideas move from community input to commission votes, how projects are funded and implemented, and how you can get involved. We'll walk through real examples and wrap up with a live Q&A and time to connect with the team at City Hall. We hope to see you there. Join the Northport Economic Development Team for a Career Connect hiring event on Saturday, February 21st at the George Mullen Activity Center, 1602 Kramer Way from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. For Jobseekers, bring your resumes, build your network, and meet employers in the Northport area. No pre-registration is required. Some examples of employers who will be on site are Northport Behavioral Health, City of Northport, McKenney Home Care, Southern Technical College, and more. We hope you can attend and make meaningful connections that could lead to a future career. Today, we're introducing a new segment on our Northport Now podcast, Commission Meeting Highlights. We'll focus on notable items from the most recent City Commission meeting and discuss what these decisions mean for you. To help break these items down, we have City Manager Jerome Fletcher with us. He'll share the city's perspective and help us understand the next steps and the impacts. All right, Jerome, thanks for being here. It's always great to have you on the pod.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about a few things discussed at the February 10th meeting. So we found out the city's about to get a visual makeover along with an entire brand refresh. So can you tell us more about what that means for the public and what's next?
Sure, absolutely. The logo that represents the city is very important. And the one that we had is a little outdated based on what we've gone through in recent years. And the decision was to create a logo that reflected the city and how we're growing and, the environment that we care about and things that we've heard and seen since the prior logo was done. It doesn't mean that the prior logo was bad. It just means that evolution has occurred and we need to make sure that we stay up with the current view of the city.
Definitely. So it sounds like the logos are growing up as we grow up and mature.
Yeah, we would hope so. We want to stay sort of current and relevant. And, the one that we have chosen now is a little bit more on the professional side of the fence as opposed to the artistic side of the first one. So it's not one is better or worse. It's just different.
Absolutely, yeah. So it sounds like we got some exciting changes on the horizon for that. But now let's switch topics to our Unified Land Development Code, or ULDC. So Development Services staff discussed the possibility of changing regulations on permitted operating hours for businesses that receive deliveries. So what was the outcome? Can you give us some more insight on that?
Yeah, so the short version is I think we need to understand that the ULEC that was adopted back in August of 2024, there was a lot of work that went into that process to identify the right areas for commercial to be in. And the example that was used yesterday that was shown on the screen was an example of a lot within one of those areas. But the big picture, once you zoomed out of it, you would have seen that that area is in a flood zone area that is going to continue to flood. We do not want to encourage, new residential building there. And if there is in the future a process or a plan to develop that area, it would, of course, take into account everyone who is there now, and a decision would have to be made in order to make that happen. But the way that it was outlined was that, well, you could just have this one business sitting in the middle of a neighborhood, and that makes no sense to anyone who would want to do that. What business would want to do that in a model that would make them profitable or make sense in any way? So we're looking at the bigger context, more years than days in front of us, and making sure that we plan and prepare for areas that we don't want to duplicate problems in the future. So I think that the concern is understandable, but it's not very likely.
Got it. Understood. So finally, let's talk about something exciting and well-deserved regarding former Commissioner Jill Luke. So the commission voted to give her a key to the city at this meeting. So tell us about that. What do you think about Jill receiving that honor?
First of all, I think it's very well-deserved. Commissioner Luke has done a lot for this city, including bringing myself here back in 2021. She was the mayor when I was hired. So I'll always be grateful for that. But just the impact that she has on this city and her care and concern that she is everywhere all the time. And she is just a strong champion of everything that the city does. And she's not shy with her feedback, whether she agrees or disagrees with you. She's never going to just agree with everyone. And that's what I like about her the most. She can disagree with you in a professional way. But her impact on the city is tremendous and undeniable, and she definitely deserves the honor.
Yes, agreed. With her presence at the chamber and being a business owner around here, and one of the best wardrobes, I would say, around. Got a closet packed full of clothes.
Yes, definitely has the best wardrobe of anyone I've ever met in my entire life, let alone here in the city of Northport. Yeah. She's phenomenal, great sense of style. And, she always does it with a smile, and her attitude and her energy is always positive. She doesn't look at, negative things as problems. She just looks at them as things that need to be solved. And I think she carries that into every room, and that's why so many people like her.
Absolutely. And we'll look forward to seeing that at a future proclamation meeting, seeing her receive that key. So that's pretty awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Jerome, and thanks for helping us get some commission highlights out there.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You can visit northportfl.gov/meetings to view the agenda items or watch the meeting recording. We're making this a mainstay after each commission meeting, so stay tuned for the next installment of Commission Meeting Highlights. Thanks for tuning in to Northport Now. Be sure to check out the show notes for links and more details on everything we covered today. Have a great week, Northport, and don't forget to stay informed, stay engaged, and stay connected.